Yeah, I want to bring you up to speed on the background on this story. It was a little more than 24 hours ago. We were on board. I was on board Amtrak 501. We were covering the historic Amtrak ride, the 6 a.m. departure from Seattle. We interviewed live a man named Rudy Wetzel, and that was at 7:03. We got off the train, and Rudy stayed on board. He was headed to Centralia, and he was on board when that train derailed. Now, a little more than 24 hours later, Rudy is sitting right next to me here at a hospital bed in Olympia. And first and foremost, I am so thankful that you are doing okay, Rudy. We thought about you from the minute it happened, having just talked to you. Tell our viewers how you're doing.
I'm doing, under the circumstances, very well. I've been treated very well. Excellent care. First responders did great. Other citizens helped, and I'm recovering, and things will be good.
Take me back to that moment when you were on the train, going about your morning, getting closer to Centralia, your farm. What happened?
Well, I decided to take a little nap, a short 30-minute nap, and next thing you knew, I was flying all over the train. And when it was all over, I tried to orient myself, and I was underneath the part of the train, and people were above me, and I realized that I was actually outside of the trail because I was laying on gravel, and I was pinned to the gravel, and so I decided the gravel was very loose. And so I moved it away, trying to cover my exit, and realized that I heard the engine running, and I realized that the engine was behind me, and there should not have been an engine close by me. So I was very much afraid that the engine was still pushing on the train, and I could see right next to my head a rail car wheel completely in the air. So I was very much afraid that this thing would collapse on me. So I dug myself out and crawled out, and I was going to help some other people, but I realized that I needed help myself, and thank God a young lady came by and grabbed me and dragged me out and put me out into safety.
Wow. And I think you said 81 years old.
Right.
You were a cop in Los Angeles for, what was it, 22 years?
22 years.
You've
1 month and 9 days.
1 month and 9 days. You've seen a lot, especially working in law enforcement in Los Angeles. How does this compare to scenes that you've responded to yourself?
This was the biggest wreck that I've ever seen, where I was participating in. It was horribly. Initially, I thought there was an explosion, that somebody had put a mine on the track or something, because it was horrific.
Wow. And I want to talk a little bit more about that response. We were speaking earlier. This happened in somewhat of a rural area. I mean, this
Right.
wasn't in the heart of a city anywhere, but you were pleased with those who came to your rescue.
Absolutely. Army showed up, state troopers showed up, citizens showed up. It was amazing to see. You can't really describe it. Everybody was helping. And excellent cooperation between the organizations. It was just very good.
One thing that surprised me a little, you told us you'd be willing to take a train ride again.
I certainly would. The train is so safe. I've done this for 10 years. I ride up and down almost once a week, or twice or three times a month. I never had anything. We've had derailments, but they were nothing like this. And I've actually never been on a train derailment on this line, period. And it's much safer than a car, and much more relaxing. I usually read or do something else or sleep, and this time I was going to sleep.
And I do want to ask you quickly. Last night, news came out that the train was initial reports indicate that the train was speeding at a pretty big clip, 80 miles per hour, in what is supposed to be a 30-mile per hour zone. What's your reaction when you hear that?
I've never seen the train go that fast, and I was not aware of it because I was napping. And I don't. This train is very safe. I mean, I cannot understand how this can happen, that they would crank up the train to this kind of a speed. It's something went wrong somewhere.
I want to end with this. Did you get any sleep last night? Tell our viewers how. I know you have a couple broken vertebrae in your back. How are you doing as you wake up today in the hospital here in Olympia?
They treat me so well. The medication takes away the pain. I'm fine.
You are a good man, and I'm so thankful that we are able to have this conversation. And we're thinking about you from the minute that derailment occurred, and obviously we continue to think of the families of all those affected.
Yeah, I'm very lucky when I consider all the other people that were hurt much more severely than I did.
That's Rudy Wetzel, an amazing man. And as we send it back to you, we are going to stay. We're streaming live on our Facebook page as well on King 5. So as you're watching our broadcast this morning, we're going to speak with Rudy for a few more minutes. But an amazing man who I'm going to stay in touch with you, Rudy. We're going to be friends. This is this guy is just wonderful and so kind in what was a very difficult day for so many.